The Pacific remains highly vulnerable to the effects of climate change and to the effects of adverse weather conditions. This can have significant effects on the growth trajectory for subregion as well as the inflation outlook.
Welcome to ADB's Asian Development Outlook, where we explore the economic prospects for developing Asia and the Pacific. Today, we're joined by ADB's principal economist, John Byrne, to share their forecast for Pacific economies. Thanks, John, for joining. Can you share your insights into ADB's economic outlook for the Pacific?
For the Pacific, we expect growth at 3.3% in 2024, which will rise to 4% in 2025. Now, there are some variations in the trajectory of growth across economies in the Pacific. For example, Papua New Guinea, which is the largest economy in the subregion, will grow strongly, and this will be driven by increased mining activity in Papua New Guinea. In Fiji, which is the second largest economy in the subregion, we expect some slowing in growth in 2024 due to a slower recovery in tourism, but this will pick up again in 2025. For other economies in the subregion, tourism will remain an important driver of growth, as well as infrastructural projects which will help to stimulate growth as well.
How do you see inflation playing out in the subregion?
So inflation is projected to come in at 4.3% in 2024. This is an increase compared to 2023, which is at 3%. In 2025, inflation will moderate somewhat at 4.1%. In 2024, we expect to be largely affected by what's happening in global commodity prices, which is spilling over to domestic prices as well.
What do you see as the key risks ahead for the Pacific?
Given the high dependency of many economies in the Pacific region on tourism, it's vital that sustainable tourism can be maintained. When we see high exposure to adverse weather conditions and the adverse effects of climate change impacting the economy, this can of course have knock-on effects on the level of tourism generated for the economy and the impact that can have on the overall outlook.
What type of policies could help mitigate these risks?
So given the vulnerability of these economies to adverse weather conditions and the effects of climate change, it will be important in the first instance to integrate climate risk into public finance management. So to improve the public finances by incorporating climate risk as a component of the overall assessment of the public finances. So that would be one issue. The second issue would be to seek to mobilize tax revenue. Fiscal policy is quite constrained as it is. Debt is elevated in many of these economies. Interest rates are a relatively high level, so it would be necessary to mobilize tax revenue.
Thank you so much, John. For more data and analysis, head on over to adb.org/outlook.